Hi, it's 2022, September something. It's Memorial Day, that's all I know. Got the day off of work. But I wanted to make one of these videos, just kind of giving a life update, more of a audio video journal, right, out loud and in person, so something I can see. I actually looked at my videos from last year when I started just simply wanting to get in shape, and just the way I was talking, thinking, the way I looked compared to now, it's like, wow, like I'm actually proud of myself for sticking with this for so long. And so much has really happened since the beginning of really restarting to get in good shape. So I'm gonna give kind of some of like what I'm doing, working out, eating well, work wise, family wise, spiritual wise. Just gonna try and cover it all in this one video. So I know I'm gonna watch it. Stay tuned, you may learn something, something may stand out, and if it does stand out, definitely share that. So let's get right into it. Thanks. All right, so let's begin with where the channel began, right? Working out. That was like the whole 5 a.m. freedom, 3 a.m. freedom. So I'm consistently waking up around 4:45. No, sorry, 3:45 or 4 a.m. 4 a.m. has really just been working well. Go to bed at 9 p.m. around there. Wake up at 4. Get to the gym around 5, and do my best to try and work out within an hour. No longer than an hour and 15. And if I'm going longer than an hour, it's because I'm doing some cardio or core work or just something that needs to, or I had a long warm up to say. But the working out has been going well for the past year. Most recently, I've hired a personal trainer to really just focus on the weak points and fine tune my workout. And during that process, I've noticed that I've just been not pushing myself. I've been playing it safe. Every time he looks at what I'm doing, he's saying, my form is good. And it's just simply, he's just pushing me to touch heavier weight than I've never touched, or not never touched, but haven't touched probably in a year, if not longer. And just kind of tweaking small little half an inch tweaks here and there. But the main reason I started and I went up to a trainer was to work on my weak point, which was my legs. It's the one part I, naturally skip over if I don't feel like going to the gym. And so I just not developed my legs, and I had a very poor squat form. And just in a matter of weeks, my squats have gotten better. I'm actually able to put the bar behind me and use an actual 45-pound bar and squat full range, down and up. So that's just tremendous. Gotten stronger in many of my areas. I've lost about 10 pounds and kept the 10 pounds off. I've lost 20 pounds, but the 10 pounds came back. And I would say the 20 pounds really because of COVID. So I did get COVID, which kind of put me on the couch for 2 weeks, and that's not fun. But the bounce back from COVID has been tremendous because I feel honestly better than I did before having COVID. So go through it. It's gonna suck for a little bit, but you will be better. I'd say so. From falling down and getting back up. So workout wise is good. I'm on a 5-day workout schedule, which I'm gonna go probably to 6. I am gonna go to this workout 6 days a week. I just noticed mentally, physically, internally, I just do much better after working out for 45 minutes to an hour, just like, stepping away from everything and clearing our mind, putting that energy into something, and pushing physically, pushing mentally, helps me push spiritually, to say, especially when reading, learning, growing, prayer, my interactions with my family, my work. And so let's just carry over to that one, because that sums up the working out. So definitely kicked it up a notch, and I would definitely challenge anybody. Hire a trainer or coach in any area of your life you feel like you're doing well, and let them expose where you're not, because that's been like the best process. And so I'm going to talk about work and family in conjunction with hiring a life coach. Rabbi Shmuel Rechman has really transformed my internal processing with myself, with the things I do, the things I want to do, and who I want to be. So he does have a book. There's a sefer called The Journey to Your Ultimate Self, Lech Lecha, it's the Abraham Journey. And he has a course that I took as well earlier this year. And then after taking the course, and through the whole time, we were able to dialogue via email. He's very approachable and probably one of the best mentors I've had to say. And we lived in San Antonio, Texas for a while, our whole lives. I ended up getting a promotion. We moved about 233 miles north, near Fort Worth, Texas, where we're now adjusted after 3 months. So that's been tons and tons of fun. But during the process with Rechman, after we moved here, I actually hired him as a coach. So he coached me, helping me develop a system that works for me. That way I can continually grow and not grow and then fall off with like no activity. But if I grow and I have a little bit of a fall, it's more of I maybe fall, but I still continue, and then comes more growth. So this has probably been the whole year since last year, around the same time, September, August time frame. My wife and I both noticed that we've just been saying we want to do something and doing it consistently, more so than not consistently. So in this season, this Elul season, the season of preparing, we're not asking ourselves, well, what are we doing? What are we not doing? What have we said we wanted to do and haven't been doing? No, we've been doing a lot. And so what we're actually able to do now is refine what we're doing, say yes to what's really most important, and say not no, but maybe put it off for later if it's not so much important. Because we have 2 kids, one on the way. So that's also been exciting. A growing family, a growing career, and really a career where I'm engaged, a family life where we're engaged. As far as saying engaged, I mean like we're active in our family life. Like we're active as a couple. Like we make sure we have family time. We make sure we talk, that we communicate, that we work through things. So that's what I mean by being engaged. It's not before marriage, it's all the way through marriage, just for those out there in that season. So yeah, I would say hiring Rabbi Rechman as a life coach, who helped me tons and tons, I would say, with internal processing, creating a system of sustainable. And it was really more so just being able to say, here's what's going on, process through it, how can we game plan to where if there was a mistake that was made and I didn't want to repeat it, we had some areas of adjustments. And again, it was always founded in Torah principles. I didn't hire him to make more money. Nothing of what I am I achieving was really to make more money. That was never it for me. It was just having a holistic, balanced life. Not being a dad that's overweight, somebody who's actually excited to go to work and actually is offering something when they work, somebody who's engaged as a parent and is involved with their children. Same thing with their marriage. Somebody that's just not married but sits on the couch, after a long day's work and ignores the needs of the wife and the family, and who's a teacher and a leader of the household. So, and then of course there's the community at large. So being part of a like-minded religious community, to say, has also been a huge gift. Having friends in the same area of life that we're in that totally understand what it's like to, have 2 or even 3 at a young age. So none of what I achieved, I have achieved, but I'm achieving, was really the pursuit of more money. It was simply the pursuit of keeping God first, understanding everything comes from God, good, bad, ugly, living a lifestyle that says so, not the flashy money kind of lifestyle, but in more internally itself. We can get caught up in doing, like, without a doubt. And when you do a lot, people recognize that. But how is that person internalizing it themselves? Do they feel valued? How is that internal relationship? What that self-talk look like? Do they express gratitude to themselves and to others? And I would definitely say gratitude has been a huge, important practice overall in every area of life. When I went to the gym in San Antonio, there was this power lifter I actually got to meet briefly. And when he went into the gym, he was just there as a guest. The energy changed in the whole gym, and it was just us two. It was a small gym. And before I left, I just went up to him and asked, like, what is it about you? Literally, like, what is it about you? Why is it when you entered the gym, my workout got better, And he kind of smiled, so you can tell it was a question he gets often. And he just said gratitude, just being grateful to come to the gym every day to pursue after your goals. Just being able to pursue after your goals was something he was grateful for. I wrote it down. Obviously, I haven't forgotten it. And it's been that same thing over and over again. And marriage and work and having these amazing responsibilities that God gives you and treating them with appreciation and not being overwhelmed and burdened or heavy-hearted. Because if you look at the Lech Lecha journey and Abraham's test, and if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. God knew Abraham can do what he did. The question was, did Abraham himself know he can do what he did? And that's the whole journey. So it's just been tremendous to have that momentum, not in just one area of life. We're not just succeeding in a career and our social life's going down. We're not just succeeding in social and our financial life's going down. We're actually building a foundation, and we have a foundation that we can keep, that we can sustain with biblical principles all the way through, and do the things we want, have what we have, appreciate where we are now, and know there's really so much later. And yeah, I can go on and on about that. So that's been great. So we talked about the working out, the life, a little bit of the spiritual, which has been tremendous. Promotion at work, bigger family, growing family. We actually have closer, more social friends, I would say. We definitely have more interaction with people living where we're living. And we know it is a smaller city, which is like a running joke here. But overall, just having somebody else to run your life through, and then developing those skills to do it yourself, and then making those adjustments. And when you have a system in place, whether that's a system for your work, just like you would have a fire lane system for names, you need a system for your life. And when you have a system itself, you can make tweaks. It's not the end all be all there. It's not said just because, I wake up at 5 a.m. doesn't mean you don't hit snooze one time and wake up at 5:15. Your principals are going to tell you to wake up at 5 a.m. and don't repeat that, because you know where the spiral is going to go, and that's where that continued education comes from. But internally processing things, knowing what time you're going to go to bed, what time this needs to get done, what responsibilities need to happen, and saying no to the things that really need to be said no to, creating those healthy boundaries where those boundaries need to be held, and not going back on your word. Simply put it like that. Just, if you say you're going to do something, do it, and don't go back on your word. And living up to a higher standard, a standard that really God set out for us from the beginning, and saying, no, this is the standard. No matter what the crazy world looks like right now. Don't measure your good deeds to the world, because you're never going to really succeed. You're never really going to know what your potential is really full of, because you're constantly contrasting it with the world, which doesn't follow what you're following, which is God's plan, which is God's principles, which are based in the Torah. So it's a constant measuring of you versus you, which I've always been a big proponent of, because it is you versus you. It's embracing failure and realizing failure is a part of the process. And making the negative your friend is another big thing I learned from Rabbi Rechman. So it's knowing that, okay, you're going to the gym, for example, you worked out, the body you want, the athletic level that you want, the mental sharpness that you want, the whatever the physical capability that you want, you don't have it yet. But when that negative voice comes in and says you're not good enough, you know that's not true. You just internally know that's not true. You're just not there yet. And whatever mental thought that just entered, realize it's not yours, and sometimes it is sent from God to just tell you, hey, keep pushing. Don't let this bring you down. So yeah, I think those are all good points. Everything's going well. That's not to say we don't have down points. Everybody does. But I can tell you, for somebody who suffered of depression, alcohol, pornography, all that stuff, those angry moments, those times where I was just literally depressed and angry for months because some random thing hurt my feelings and I didn't know how to process that. You know, it used to take me months to get out of a depression, you know, weeks to get out of anger, and then it turned into days, and then a couple days, and then hours, and it's almost down to like 4 hours. I timed it because that's what I do. I constantly measure myself. I'm like in this constant state of progress because I want to continue to keep moving forward. When I'm not moving forward as well, I'm not that hard on myself anymore. Some people would say I extend myself some grace. And that's been extremely useful because I had a relationship with myself that was really negative fueled. It was fueled by the negativity, which was not sustainable at all. So when I mess up, because I'm a human being, it's not that big of a deal. Of course, if I'm going against my morals, then that's a whole different story. I'm just talking about hitting snooze, ignoring an email, saying something, not following through. Those small things, which those small things do add up, and they're becoming less and less. Not to say I'm perfect, because honestly, nobody is, right? So I'm not trying to be. But the standard is perfect, right? And if there's a standard, it means it's achievable. So we need to constantly be striving, constantly have gratitude, constantly be aware of what we have, that everything we have now is from God, what everything is coming from God, everything you've been through and He is here now came from God as well. So yeah, those principles have really been life-changing. So there's tons and tons of growth on the way, and this is the most amazing season of all, Elul. I love this season. It's like, you know, New Year's resolutions, right? Some people have a love-hate with that. That stuff's amazing for me because you get to revisit what you're doing, why you're doing it, the purpose for it, what are you going to continue, you're going to not continue. So I'm definitely going to continue working out. I'm going to focus on just gaining strength. So my focus is really narrowed down because I want to get stronger before I lose more weight. Spiritually, of course, I'm going to keep growing, but at a sustainable level with my many responsibilities that I have in my life. So I know when I'm studying, I know when I'm praying, and just not going to give up on those things at all. Same thing with my life, the times with my kids, my career. I know I'm going to progress where I'm at now in my career, and I'm not going to let it get in the way of my family time. I'm not going to schedule an appointment when I said, no, that's the time for God. Like, no more. I've done that, and I don't like how I feel, basically because that goes against my morals and values, and say I'm putting God to the side. So once you're able to process those things from a healthy standpoint, you get to move forward with and there's so much mental clarity. Could go on and on with having clarity on what you want in life, where you're going, who you are, who you want to be, who you're meant to be, those kinds of things. Those things are amazing. So yeah, everything's going well, and I'm not telling you there's not things not going well. You know, we just cleaned the house for a few hours. You know, spent 4 hours in a city with kids and grocery stores. You know, I'm not the best person to go and visit all these grocery stores at the same time, but I'm something, you know, everybody has their faults, and not their faults, but the things that they struggle with. But this has been great. It's 2022. We're gonna get back to it. Our newborn's gonna be here in January, December this year, January next year. And yeah, just looking forward to hearing myself really after this and how I sounded, because yeah, that's what it's all about. This is great. Everybody have a good day. If you're watching this, continue to strive, continue to push, continue to have compassion with yourself and others. Bye. Have a good day.